90 people were told to leave their homes in Essex after a fire early this morning. Fire crews were called to the block of flats in Bockingham Green near Basildon at around 2:30. People who live there were offered shelter in a leisure centre nearby. The fire is being treated as suspicious.
It was a fire which emergency services say could easily have cost lives. It took hold at around 2:30 this morning at Bockingham Green in Basildon. At its height, 12 fire crews fought the flames. People living here say they were shocked at the speed with which the fire spread through the roof space of the flats. Many of them told me, "We're lucky to be alive." Around 18 months ago, another fire took hold nearby.
This has been 2 fires now, and the way they went up so quick, I just want the council tax on it now. What are they going to do? Are they going to wait for someone to die? Do you know what I mean? Next.
90 people were forced to leave their homes. More than 40 were cared for in emergency accommodation. Many had nothing but the clothes they were wearing.
To the left, when I come out, there was flames everywhere. The whole side of the building, well, the houses had gone. So there was smoke. It was just a bit of a shock, really.
There has been quite a few people that did need medication, so we've had to phone these surgeries, make sure that their prescriptions are available for when the teams turn up, and pick up these prescriptions and bring back to the rest centre for these people.
2 flats were totally destroyed, at least 6 more severely damaged. It's thought the fire was started deliberately.
At the moment we have police investigators, fire investigators and police scenes of crime on scene carrying out an investigation. At this time we are treating the fire as suspicious. One of the things we're investigating at the moment is that there is a possibility that a sofa has been ignited outside of the building.
Basildon District Council owns the flats. It's now arranging temporary accommodation for those who've been left homeless. Richard Daniel, BBC Look East, Basildon.
An inquest has been opened and adjourned into the death of a paedophile who died before standing trial. The body of John Darby was found at his home in Hunstanton. It's thought he may have abused hundreds of children while he was running a care home in London. The coroner is waiting for the results of a post-mortem examination. A man from Ipswich has been released on police bail after a car crashed into a freight train yesterday afternoon. The car went through a fence and crashed into the train near Derby Road Station. The car was badly damaged, but nobody was hurt.
The Army claimed today that its Apache helicopters will be more effective against the Taliban after a recent upgrade. Soldiers from the Suffolk-based Apache fleet are currently training in the United States ahead of a new deployment to Afghanistan.
Conditions in the Arizona desert are almost identical to those in Helmand province, which is why the Apache crews from Wattisham are preparing out here. Each Apache is now fitted with a new target acquisition system, highly developed cameras and sensors at the front of the aircraft, which give the pilots near-perfect vision, day or night. These pictures were taken during a recent operation in Afghanistan. A Taliban fighter has just put his machine gun in his car after a battle with a coalition convoy. Using their new viewing platform and the Hellfire missile, the Apache crew took it out of service. Back at the Hillabend airbase, the ground crew prepare their own Apache for similar sorties, loaded with 30mm rounds and CRV-7 rockets. Once the Wattisham crews are trained up, they're off to Afghanistan. And this time, the targets and the danger will be real. And Jana Gadgil, BBC Look East.
Well, earlier I spoke to one of the officers training the crews in America. He's completed a number of tours in Afghanistan, and I asked him how suitable Arizona was as a training ground.
Well, Susie, out here the temperatures are very similar to Afghanistan. In the summer it's incredibly hot. In the winter it does get pretty cold. The scenery, the topography and the pressures are very similar to those that we will experience in Afghanistan. So it's absolutely an ideal place to come and train.
And how much of a difference will these new helicopters or the new additions to the helicopters make out in Afghanistan, do you think?
Well, the first generation system that we were using up until now was pretty effective, but you only see, at night, you only see small blobs. Now, with this modernised system, we're able to see the full detail of the enemy and what they're up to and their conduct. So we can make out their demeanour. We can see if they're carrying weapons. We can also see if ground has been dug recently. The excavations are still there with some sort of thermal picture sort of residually left. So it'll make a huge difference to the capability of this aircraft.
I know you're training some of the guys who are going to be going out quite soon. How's their morale about going back to Afghanistan?
Yeah, it's pretty high. Some of these guys, or most of the guys who are training right now, haven't been to Afghanistan yet, so they're still, pretty excited and buoyed up about the prospect of putting into practice what for some of them has been, 3 years of training. And what we do out here is very much the culmination of that, where they bring together their ability to fly the aircraft. They've been taught now to fight it, and this final stage is learning how to fire the weapon systems and integrate with other users in order to deliver the product on the battlefield.
A collection of antique tools will be sold at auction tomorrow in Norwich. Ralph Youngman started his apprenticeship in 1938 at John Young's in Norwich. He died 16 years ago. During his career, he used the tools to make bank counters and staircases. It's thought the items will fetch more than £1,000. A dog from Essex Fire and Rescue, which was put into quarantine when she came back from working in the earthquake zone in Indonesia, is being allowed out part-time. The government agreed Darcy can train in secure premises in Essex during the day.
In football, no game for Ipswich tomorrow in the Championship due to the international break, but our teams in League One do play. Colchester can go second if they beat Exeter. Southend travel to Yeovil, while Norwich host Tranmere. The Canaries have won 8 of their last 9 games.
Paul Lambert, relaxed. He can afford a chuckle or two. His team's flying. 5th in the league, still in 2 cups. Next up, Tranmere, and they've been struggling.
Lost a manager and the physio's in charge and getting beat at certain games quite heavily, but it still doesn't deflect for this is a really tough game for us.
Norwich scraped through to the semi-finals of the Johnstone's Paint Trophy in midweek. Jamie Curitin with the decisive penalty. In training today, 5-year-old Ryan Snell showed the players a thing or two. He suffers from a chronic illness and relies upon support from the East Anglian Children's Hospices, known as EACH. They won Aviva's Community Chest Challenge and a full-day sponsorship to raise funds.
It's fantastic. Ryan and little Aaron, yeah, they're both Norwich fans and they're absolutely loving it. We're going to get the logo emblazoned across the players' shirts. We've got families going to the game. We've got a bucket collection at the start of the game as well. It's just massive for us.
He's made his day. He'll go home and talk about it. He'll tell his friends at school today, and if it's put a smile on his face for the afternoon, that's fantastic.
Fighting spirit and gritty determination proved too much for Grant Holt in goal. The big winner tomorrow will be the Hospices. Tom Williams, BBC Look East.
You're watching Look East from the BBC. Coming up...
Now, it's been a long time since the trains were controlled by the government, but tonight in this region, it's happening again.
At 1 minute to midnight, the East Coast Main Line, which includes the line between Peterborough and London, will go back into government control because National Express can't afford to run the franchise. Work will include a revamp of one of our busiest stations.
National Express only took over the East Coast Main Line franchise 2 years ago, but it paid over the odds at the top of the market and is saddled with huge payments to the Treasury, which it can't afford. So at midnight, the line will be back in government control for 2 years only, with a new name of East Coast.
The good news is that we're making lots of investments in this railway over the next couple of years, and these are all based on things that customers have asked for. So we're improving stations, we'll be spending about £12 million, and we'll also be investing in other customer facilities to really make sure that we respond to what customers want.
So what exactly will passengers see? There'll be better catering on trains and at stations, better cleaning standards, no more charges for seat reservations, and the refurbishment of Peterborough Station.
Peterborough's not a very good station, and I think we have to be honest about that. So we are making substantial investments in Peterborough. We will be basically rebuilding the station building, we'll be installing gates, we'll be improving the customer facilities, and really I think in a couple of years' time there'll be quite a transformation in Peterborough Station.
The station will be refurbished and extended with 2 new entrances. There'll be better toilets, waiting rooms and shops. Bus, cycle and taxi facilities will be improved, and the work will start in early 2011. This week's other big rail story: problems on First Capital Connect services caused by drivers choosing not to work overtime. It's meant half the services on the Bedford to Brighton line have had to be cancelled, but this weekend 90% of trains are due to run. And there should be no disruptions on the company's Great Northern services from Peterborough and Kings Lynn. Ian Barmer, BBC Look East.